All right. Thank you for joining me. My name is Brian Banks from Your Career Day. Can you give us your name?
Yes, Corinth Patterson.
All right, Corinth, where is your hometown?
Hometown is Ypsilanti,
All
Michigan.
right. Now, what is your career title?
Yes, currently career title is I am Associate Commissioner for Championships and Sports Programs at the Mid-American Conference.
Okay. Now, what does being the associate, what was it? It's
Commissioner.
associate
Associate Commissioner.
commissioner
I know.
entail? What does that entail?
Oh wow, what doesn't it entail? I know I feel like a big title for a lot in there, but I'm in a conference office. I work
Hmm.
in intercollegiate athletics. So with our conference office, we have 12 members that we serve. So
Hmm.
actually, three of those members are Michigan schools,
Right.
Eastern, right there, Ypsilanti, Central Michigan, and Mount Pleasant, and Western Michigan and
Yes.
Kalamazoo there. So with that, I like to say we're a service-driven organization where
Hmm.
from the conference standpoint, we work with all our memberships. We're here to serve our membership.
Right.
So in my particular role, I work on the championship. And that role piece of it, I guess that's just one piece of it, the championship side of
Hmm.
things. So I get to work with our schools as in college athletics. You have a season, you have some non-conference play, you have some conference play, and then you have your championship. So one of the things that a lot of the student athletes look to get to. So
Yeah.
with that a piece of it, I get to we have some championships on like a host rotation.
Hmm.
So say, Eastern Michigan, and maybe hosting the track and field championship.
Okay.
So I would work with the school, because then all 12 schools would travel to,
Mhm.
Eastern Michigan. So it's a chance for us to highlight our city
Right.
of Ypsilanti, the school, because they're going to be there for, a long weekend,
Yeah.
probably coming in on, a Thursday through Saturday.
Okay.
So working with the school as they need to get officials and making sure they're okay with their facilities. We have security and everything for the championship event, and we're ready to host all the schools coming in. And so I work with the school throughout the year, the duration, and then when it's time for the championship, I would then up to the site,
Okay.
and do that and be there for the duration of the championship, making sure we execute a smooth championship and pass out some awards and medals. Um, and then another piece of kind of where we also have our governance structure of the
Mhm.
conference office, which tells, I would say, our presidents at the universities, our athletic directors, our senior women administrators, and our
Mhm.
faculty athletic reps are all part of that piece of it. So I directly work with the senior women administrators. So also from the conference office, there are different, rules and regulations that they have to abide by. They come from the voting of the membership, but we need, as we things get motioned and things get passed, this whole process that they have to go through. So working with that group as we're of course a big piece of it when we hit COVID, how do we manage all this, and how,
Yeah.
so it's not just at the conference office, but the whole membership is the one, looking at that, how do we move forward. And we're back at it, though. That was
Right.
a time there, but getting, back at it, and we're still just trying to see some of the effects, and just, getting us back to our playing seasons and everything.
Okay. Now, what type of education is required?
Well, I would definitely say in a role like this, a bachelor's degree.
Mhm.
You could go a lot of different routes. I would say typically there have been more universities that are having a sports management, sports administration degree. I would say, the when you're looking at like what degree path.
Right.
Um, they do have are having more of those, because actually when I was coming up, that wasn't as popular. You tried, kind of wasn't for sure like even knew about it. I mean, I knew athletics because I participated it, but I
Right.
didn't, the different roles that you could have after
Mhm.
being a student athlete. So they're definitely having more of those at universities, that you can go into that path. But we also have people who have gone the business route,
Right. Okay.
through there, marketing, route. Gosh, we've had our, our CFO, he, is the business person there, but still kind of tapping into that sports piece of it. And then some people have even now, I would say, so definitely a bachelor's. Mostly everybody has a bachelor's. Now, depending on where you go in, sometimes you do need that additional degree if going
Mhm.
on to graduate school. So I did go on and I did undergrad, and I did go on and do a master's. So I did an MBA in a sports administration, master's degree,
Okay.
for that. But we do have people who kind of come at compliance side of it, who have
Mhm.
gone on to law school, because there's a lot of, reading everything and trying to know the legislation coming from the NCAA, um, to know
Okay.
about theirs. So I would definitely say there is not one set path. There are some ways that I guess would lead you there, but standing connection or someone that you see in a position you want to talk, a role that you like, go, talking with them and kind of seeing their path through that.
Yeah, networking is very important.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
what is the best type person suited to do what you do?
I best say, I would say someone. So, going back to work with all the different people, all the membership. So definitely, someone who's big communication. I mean, that was huge in this role because I'm talking to a lot of different people, all the campuses, keeping, everybody in our conference office, communication, piece of that. I would say, I think I have of an outgoing personality because you do, I guess you want to travel a little bit, with our schools are in the Midwest, but there's definitely other conferences that are in different locations,
Yeah.
um, for that. So I would definitely think someone who, like that outgoing, the communication, well organized, a
Mhm.
planning type of person. I guess sometimes in this role, I sometimes feel like I'm an event planner, like a wedding event planner, but for
Yeah.
sporting events.
Yeah.
So you know, I kind of in my mindset, not, and I don't see it as a negative thing, but you just
Yeah.
always know something's gonna happen, and it's just like, how do we fix it? Not so a problem solver too. How if this happens, how can we quick on our feet and figure out the solution?
Right.
For it, not to be down on it or negative about it. Like, well, we're already here. That's already happened. We gotta move forward. How
Yeah.
can we still make this an experience for our campus, for our student athletes, for our administrators?
All right. Now, how did you get here? What was your role? How did you get to this current position? What was your role to this position, I should say?
Oh, so for me, I was a former student athlete, so
Mhm.
been in athletics ever since from middle school, all on up. I ran track, so I did go. So I guess the one piece kind of got you into it is, for me on the sports side. I went to college and I had a track scholarship,
Okay.
at Ball State University there. So one of our schools actually in the conference, in Indiana University.
Okay.
Um, um, so I went to, well, it's in the state of Indiana. I worked in Indiana, but at Ball State, so I already had that piece of it. You're kind of in it, but not. And that's the piece I didn't know because I mean, and yes, I go show to practice, I run, but the piece of it, like, oh, there's jobs that people
Mhm.
do to manage all of this, all the sports. So um end up talking with some people on campus that were in, administrators that were there, and took a few classes in that route. I was like, oh, this seems really interesting, because still stay in athletics, something that I enjoy, something I feel like it, can give back. But even when I was an undergrad, not for sure where that would lead me to and
Right.
how it would work. So my academic advisor was someone just I really enjoyed. She just had a connection with everyone. I swear, you
Yeah.
see her at a football game. She knew everybody's name. I mean, to this day, she's still on Facebook. Messaging all of us, and just that connection right there. Just really meant a lot. And even when I think about it, even when I go back to high school, even the connection with your coaches and stuff,
Mhm.
and just how much of an impact they laid on. I was like, man, I want to be able to do something like that, and and be able to give back or just have an impact on someone's life
Yeah.
in that way. So I actually first started off at Indiana University. I was an academic advisor
Okay.
for student athletes there. So I got to work with an array of the athletes in that field and really enjoyed it. Actually, it's so funny because there was a student who lives here in Ohio,
Mhm.
where I live now. We actually even connected for lunch a couple weekends. So just to have that, and then I had another one text me and just said how much from on Instagram, like give me messages like, man, I had that impact. So I guess I did meet that goal there.
Yeah.
So I was there in Indiana doing that. I was there for 4.5 years.
Mhm.
I did dabble a little bit in the conference world. When I first got out of graduate school, I had an internship
Mhm.
at the MAC here in Ohio, where I'm currently at. And it was on the media relations side of things. And I knew that probably wasn't a huge interest, of getting to, but you got it. Sometimes you have to take those
Right.
opportunities because you don't know where they're going to lead to
Right.
and who you're going to be able to connect with.
Mhm.
So end up taking that internship first. So I knew a little bit of what the conference office did.
Right.
Um, and then, like I said, my goal at that time, the academic advisor went, had an opportunity to go to Indiana University,
Mhm.
and I always still stay connected with the people at the MAC.
Yeah.
And there was some turnover in leadership. And I think, at that time I was looking like I knew I really did enjoy the event side of things as well. And I figured another way I could still tap and help the student athletes, but also in a way I could get more into administrative role
Right.
um, in the college athletics realm. So I first came on as I was director of championships and compliance.
Mhm.
Compliance was not the big, the area, but again, another opportunity you
Right.
take, you learn from it, you grow. It's that I will definitely say that in this business that compliance piece is always good to have with you because a lot of it builds off of that, and what we all can do, the
Mhm.
what's right and what's wrong. So was able to do that, was able to grow, and then was able to knock the compliance and just have championships. So took on more responsibility there, more sports. Then I became assistant commissioner for championships and some growth. And I was there for quite a while in that role. And
Mhm.
then now in this current role as associate commissioner, I do oversee our championships department there. So I have some staff of well, technically 5 of us because the champs are spread out. So get to overseeing that, and so all of them kind of fall like under my umbrella there, but definitely different people oversee different ones. But kind of knowing a little bit about each one, and I've done quite a few of them
Yeah.
there. So guess that leads all the way up to actually I just had my 13th year anniversary.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So yeah, so it has definitely been some time, but been good. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they say you won't stay at a place if it's not been too good to you.
Right. That's right. So, what makes this career fun, interesting, or exciting, or all the above? I kind of know being a sports fan, but I want to
Yes, yes,
hear.
I know. All of the above. I mean, you definitely have your challenges
Mhm.
that come and just different try different things that trying to pass or different things trying to do with our schools, but at the end of the day I always go back to that student athlete piece
Yeah.
there. And when you're at an event, a championship, and you see someone who maybe hit a PR or had their best game or things like that, like that's just all the excitement because that's what we do it for them, and that's going to be with them for the rest of their career.
Mhm.
We all, and also and that's just there in the now moment because we're at the championship, but also just to see so many people who have come out of the Mid-American Conference, so many great people who have just left their mark here on so many things. To they we don't like say, but we're that mid-major, so we're kind of a the mid-major conference there, but we've had some rock star people have come out. So
Oh, yeah.
definitely some
Sure.
some legends that have been a part of this conference have gone on to do great things.
Yeah.
So I definitely always see, that is always just being able to have that connection, being able to provide something for our memberships, for the student athletes. Makes it fun. Even just, we have a small staff of about 15 of us, and just a few weeks ago we were in Detroit for our football championship.
Right.
So a lot of our championship, it's like 1 or 2 people go, small event, but that was a big event, and we all were there together. And just, that connection, just, when you're doing that team event, we're our own little team there. So just the fun piece of it, I love, one thing, especially having our championship at Ford Field,
Right.
and the 2 teams come in, and the first, you see those athletes and they have their phones out and they're
Right.
just taking a picture, or a video. So just that type of experience that the athletes have, being able to play in that type of a venue, because when you think of it, not everyone is going to go to the next level.
Right.
There, we all want to, and have dreams there, but
Mhm.
being able to be right here, and just see that, and be able to have that opportunity, that we're able to work contracts with, Ford Field to have a championship there, able to work contracts with Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse here in Cleveland, Ohio, to have our basketball tournament. Those are just amazing things. Like, even on that college piece, 2024, we are hosting the NCAA Women's Final Four.
Oh, wow. That's
It's
cool.
coming to Cleveland. So it's just, there's things within the conference that we do, but then some things is so much big picture, that we'll get to have our hands in, and just kind of see all that. So see
Yeah.
all those rock stars come in the building.
Now, my final question. What advice would you give to someone that might want to follow in your footsteps?
Advice. Well, I know okay. And Brian, you're probably about this. I know it's changed a little bit. Of course, when we were growing, it was like after high school, like everyone went on to college. Like that was the thing that just kind of was how you followed in their steps. Like, we go to college. I know now things have changed. I will say, definitely, if you're following in my footsteps, a degree like a career like this, definitely do need the education piece.
Right.
But for just people that you may have listening who may not want to do my career per se, but thinking, I do kind of stand firm. Like, I think going to college is good. If you try to look for those scholarships or different grants and stuff that you can get, because I always say education is something that no one can take away from you.
Right.
So regardless of what career you think you're looking into, always, still kind of firm believer on the education pieces, and trying to find some ways to tackle the finances, because I know that's a lot that steers people away. And then, even if not that, even going to a trade school for something too. I know that doesn't technically say, the career path that I went or to that, but just, I like to say something, just trying to find some type of plan after you go from middle school to high school, just thinking about that, what really will be your next steps.
Right.
There. So the education piece would be, I guess, my number one, or looking for some type of trade to go into. Next, of course, the networking piece there. And if someone watches this and wants to connect afterwards, that hey, want to hear some more about it, maybe another one be volunteering. There's sometimes you're going to have to do a lot of stuff for free before you can get there, but with that, you just never know who you're going to meet.
Right.
Or who might be looking for something, because like I say, a lot of times in this business, sometimes it's not about who but who knows you.
Yeah.
And say someone reaches out to me, I'm looking for someone this, what, I just had a great call with someone that was looking into that, might not be a fit, but maybe a good, opportunity to at least talk with them. For that, I think is always helpful. So I said, my education, networking, volunteering, I probably could go on. Guess what's and just don't be, I think too, don't be afraid to take those opportunities that might, per se, like I had spoken before. There were a couple of things in my path that I knew I wasn't so gung-ho that I wanted to do that, but still taking the opportunity because it led to something else.
Right.
In my journey. So sometimes we're so set, like we have to do this and that, but taking something else, and you never know. Sometimes you take something else and you might find that you're interested in that
Yeah.
piece of it, and can add something else to it. So I think
Well,
those will be my
well,
advice points.
yeah, that's great, Corinth. I really appreciate it, and sharing your time and knowledge with us. And we wish you all the best moving forward.
Thank you. I'm glad I was able to do it.